escape prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the world's gonna take this. Welcome once again, folks. This is Cat's Pajamas.
And this is Pain User.
And we are back for game number 2 of this Winners Bracket Round 2 set here between MYM and ClouD. At the bottom left-hand corner, Shakur Splito. He is our red Terran player. His opponent in the top right-hand corner, sporting the blue trunks, as Total Biscuit would say, is Imba Strelok. So Strelok versus ClouD, and Strelok, what a beast! Has not dropped a game this entire tournament so far, and he looks to be playing extremely strong.
Strelok, you're so cute. Yeah, he's been impressing me quite a bit. His Terran play has been phenomenal as of late, and you know, it's been a while. Strelok's always been one of those top players that I've respected. You know, I got a lot of my Terran information, and I did a lot of studying of him and Brat OK. I had watched them in the Brood War days, and you know, logically, I just carried that over to StarCraft 2. Studying as many replays as I could get of those two players, and they've always been on the forefront, just never really had a chance to shine in any online tournaments. And we do have a gas already down for Strelok, so we are going to see something different out of him in this game for certain. Probably going to open with...
Well, it could be the... I mean, gas first could be the fastest possible Hellions. It could be the early Banshee play. I mean, there's a lot of different directions you can take with it.
I would love to see something similar to that Reaper style that I've seen recently out of Major. Six Jacks Major doing this fastest possible Reaper with Nitro packs build that I think actually could be applied to TVT and really used effectively. I don't know if this is the map to do it on, though.
Right.
We're probably not going to see that out of Strelok here. Don't get too excited. But it's interesting where he put his racks. You know, this doesn't really yield to anything in my mind. I'm not exactly sure, other than to maybe hide a starport and swap a tech lab and eventually get a Banshee somewhere hidden in the corner of your base, or just to prevent your opponent from scouting. And we do have a factory going up right next to that rack, so it'll be interesting to see where he goes with this. No second gas just yet.
Yeah, and so there we go. That is about as fast as you can possibly produce a factory. So had that timed perfectly. So I'm curious to see how he follows this up. First supply depot going down. It's funny, ClouD's going to get through here at first and be like, where's all the buildings? Oh, okay, here they are. They're off to the right. I'm okay. And Strelok will be able to clear off that SCV. Going to make its way back out of the base. Back on ClouD's side of things, though, he is putting up a factory. He has not gone. There we go. Finally, second gas coming up right away. And we do indeed have a tech lab coming up on that barracks as soon as that SCV got out of range.
The factory positioning for ClouD just makes me think that we are going to see a very quick Banshee out of him, and we are going to see a very quick Banshee out of Strelok as well. If you look at ClouD's factory, he has positioned it on the far right-hand side of his base, probably going to put a starport below that immediately. He does have that second gas going, which is interesting because Strelok doesn't have that second gas. So, he canceled
ClouD
that.
canceled second gas.
He did indeed.
And he's feinting towards Banshees, but putting up the reactor. There's a starport coming up as well.
Not building Hellions yet. Looks like we might see a CC out of him before he starts producing anything. And yes, he does drop a CC, so ClouD just now getting that. Strelok also getting a CC. Strelok getting that first Banshee out as well, but not getting Cloak. Does not have even close to enough gas to support that. So looks like he just wants to get this Banshee out as early as possible, get some semblance of map control. Neither player holding on to either of the Xel'Nagas right now, so probably going to use that Banshee to clear out the Xel'Nagas, and then, you know, head into ClouD's base, see what he can see, possibly kill some SCVs, but not going to invest heavily into that Cloak.
Yeah, this is interesting, and ClouD is going to have enough for one Banshee here in just a second. There's the 100 gas, so there's a Banshee. So he is, in fact, going back to that Banshee. Just a weird way of doing it. Decided to cancel the gas and just save up the extra resources and put down the command center as quickly as possible. So both players going to be coming at each other with the Banshee. They'll probably pass if in the like ships in the middle of the night, if Strelok and ClouD end up rallying them to about the same place. Strelok, though, throwing up his second racks and just going right into a, what I presume is going to be a siege tank build here in a second. We'll see with 125 gas. There it is. It still has it. Okay, it'll be a second before he decides to put that down.
You can't use that quote unless they're passing in the night.
Well, there. Oh, wait, hold on.
But
hold
this
on,
is
Banshee
like
time.
broad daylight right here. This
Yeah,
is
that's
he's
true.
right in the middle of ClouD's base and didn't even see one another. That Banshee is just going to go in here immediately and start killing SCVs. We already have 2 down, 3 down. Looks like he's going to be taking out a 4th here. 4th SCV going down 5th. And wow, great micro right there coming out of Strelok, barely taking any damage on that Banshee. And he is going to live to fight another day.
Yep, and we do have a Raven coming up now for ClouD. He's rallying it back at his opponent's base, or back inside of his base, because I guess he presumes Cloak is up.
Oh, and the Viking is out for Strelok.
And that's going to be able to take down the Banshee very quickly. The Banshee is going to have to be rallied away. It has only killed 1 Marine, and that's all the damage it did.
Where are you going? Nowhere. That Banshee is completely shut down, and he will be able to ward that off. Might even be able to kill it. It looks like he's chasing it through the middle of the map. That Banshee is down to 44 hit points, and there we go. Ships passing in the night once again.
Whatever, I don't even care. I'm going to drop that as much as I want, so.
No!
So, Strelok now, he is on 3 racks, and he is going into that siege tank production. Has not started siege mode quite yet, but he has already opened a pretty significant lead in this game, to be honest. Let's take a look at the units tab. Well, he's actually tied on workers, but he neutralized that worker count from the amount of damage the Banshee did before. ClouD invested in a Raven, and
it's interesting. I wonder why they're tied on the worker count right now. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It's not like he cut SCV.
I think he did, though. I think he did for a little while back in the beginning. He wasn't producing the entire time, so.
Interesting.
Yeah, but nonetheless, let's see here. He did have that Banshee out so much quicker than his opponent. ClouD, though, on the other hand, he does have the double engineering base, so he's going to have upgrades coming fast and furious. I am not sure if he produced that Raven to honestly be included in this unit composition, because he had it rallied back at the Banshee. With the gas he saw, I guess he was, and the timings he saw, I guess he was expecting that fastest possible Banshee and expected it to have some sort of cloak associated with it, but that didn't happen, so now he has a Raven sitting around, which admittedly is really good in his unit composition, but I don't know if he necessarily wanted to invest in that.
Ravens in early to mid-game TVT are always phenomenal, though. Auto turrets are just so useful in small, early to mid-game skirmishes in TVT. They are so effective. And wow, Strelok with a patrolling Viking up in the top middle. Looks like he will intercept this Banshee on the way in. Great positioning right there of that Viking. I know a lot of people would think that that's super random, but not really. That's a very, very common pathway for either drops or Banshees to come in. And it looks like this Banshee's still actually going to be able to accomplish a little bit of damage here, but still getting taken out relatively quickly. No turrets down yet for Strelok, though. Probably going to look to see him build a few of those in a little bit here, but we do have a drop coming out of Strelok headed towards the natural of ClouD right now. He does have Stim, I believe. He definitely is going to have Combat Shield before this drop takes place, and he does have Stim as well, so Stim and Combat Shield will be finished. And oh no, ClouD moving out just as this drop could potentially be coming into the natural.
Oh no.
And it is making its way down. Strelok sieging some tanks at mid here, going to prevent him from grabbing that Xel'Naga, and without Stim, you know, I don't know exactly what ClouD is going to accomplish here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not really going to do anything, and he keeps coming into range here, and that's allowing these siege tanks to do their damage. At the same time, we have that drop just heading in. If he makes his way into the natural, he could pick off a couple of key mules. Looks like he is going to run into the main, as a matter of fact. Strelok actually going to another base as well, so his third is coming down at the about the 4 o'clock position. Looks like that has already been spotted by a Raven, though. Here comes the drop from Strelok. At the same time, ClouD pushes out a little bit. Looks like he's going to take, oh, nope, just anger. Firing at those destructible rocks for half a second. Here he comes, though. So many SCVs are going to fall down. These Marines doing a ton of damage, and there's not really much that ClouD can do about this.
Did he lose the medevac? No, it's still alive, and it looks like he is going to pull out of there. Might even get that Viking as well. No, Viking gets away with 35 hit points, and maybe he might re-stim. Those Marines, no. It looks like he will take that medevac out with the Viking. Those Marines in the main not being microed to pick off that Viking.
So much lost mining time. Strelok up by 30 supply now. And he was obviously at the advantage of upgrades. He had a stim pack done. ClouD doesn't have that done yet. He does have combat shield, though, thankfully.
Doesn't it feel like a really late stim upgrade from ClouD to
yeah,
you? I mean,
definitely.
It just seems like he got it so late. Invested so much gas in that Raven, the early Vikings, the Banshee, just not getting those core upgrades, and Strelok, willing to invest that gas in upgrades early on, and it's paid dividends for him. That drop alone, able to kill so many SCVs and delay mining time, like you said, and also up on the siege tank count by quite a bit. So if you notice, ClouD still hasn't taken his 4th gas. He took his 3rd gas relatively late, and I think the fact that Strelok took all 4 gases is really just going to allow him to win this game, because there are virtually no gas units from ClouD, and he's also invested so much gas in the 2-1 upgrades, which really aren't paying off for him.
Exactly. He just doesn't have the pure units to go against the forces of Strelok. He's just sacrificing all those units. Looks like Strelok is going to run away as fast as he can with these SCVs, but this drop is doing quite a bit of damage. Here comes ClouD now. Looks like all the SCVs are being brought back as well, and those are just being torn up through the meat grinder. So much damage being done. Let's take a look at the workers killed, and now we do see that ClouD has pulled significantly ahead. 27 workers killed to just the 12 of his opponents. Looks like ClouD loading up a few more units, dropping those into the main. I guess worried about some sort of a counterattack.
Where he's going with that. And it looks like ClouD is going to attempt to push out here. He does have the superior Marine force, but he continues to run into those 5 sieged tanks with the Viking and the medevac spotting, and I don't know why ClouD would even attempt to get near those. He's going to be forced to concede territory here, and this was really boiling down to the fact that he just does not have any siege tanks to speak of, and I don't think he's going to be able to break this siege.
No, absolutely not. I mean, when those Marines were going heads up, though, we did see the upgrade advantage there. ClouD was just chewing through those units. Ugh, English language, doing good. It looks like, though, Strelok's just going to start fearing units onto the high ground here. This is brilliant. He's going to start making his way up. This Viking's not going to last very long. The medevac's got plenty of health left. There's the stim, and it looks like the Viking does manage to survive, but not going to be any good here. All the units for ClouD are running themselves around, pulling back right into the siege tanks, though, is Strelok. So many units getting blown up. And ClouD does manage to kill that siege tank, but at the cost of almost all of his remaining Marines.
And this continued elevator working away at the production now of ClouD. ClouD just has so much Marine production here. It looks like he's going to stim and go all in on these tanks here. He will clean out everything on the high ground, attempting to come from behind, but he needs to pick off that medevac. That should be his primary target. He could have denied sight of the high ground there. We did see a scan from Strelok go off, but if he was able to deny the sight of the high ground, he might have been able to wait that scan out and pick off those tanks on the low ground. And now ClouD just losing all of his SCVs here. He is on the back foot. He does have his 3rd up and running now, but look at the force of Strelok rolling into the natural right now. Some kind of strange numpad sign followed by a GG, and ClouD losing the series. Wow.
And once again, just a supremely clean, beautiful game played out of Strelok there. So manages to open up with that Banshee, does significant damage at the beginning, tricked ClouD into thinking that Cloak was there. ClouD was never really able to establish himself as far as the economy went. Now, he did have that opportunity when he dropped and killed a ton of SCVs over at the top right, but he was already so far invested into upgrades, he didn't have the units to combat the siege tank line.
About that drop, that looked like the one opportunity for ClouD to just jump back into the game. I mean, he immediately dropped those Marines, started plowing through the SCV line, and, I think Strelok realized he was in such a good position. He was working up to the natural. He had all of his tanks, right there.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think he was really worried about it. If you notice, he sends 30 SCVs to try and kill that drop, is willing to take the losses, has maybe 5-6 Marines, cleans that up, but at a pretty hefty cost.
Yeah, absolutely.
But knowingly doing that because he had the game in his clutches and just continued with that elevator drop and sieged out all of the production. It looked like ClouD was going for that all-Marine style with heavy upgrades, just trying to go up to 3-3 immediately, was able to reach 2-2, but, I mean, at the end of the day, that game just showcases pure bio versus biomech. tanks plus bio equals win.
Yeah, but you've also got to be so mobile whenever you're doing the all bio build. And really, with the exception of the one drop that went up here, we didn't see any sort of counter drops. We didn't see when the push was coming a load up of a medevac and heading over here to the third to try and do some damage. Well, actually, there's 5 kills on that planetary fortress. but you know what I'm saying. He wasn't dropping around with a ton of medevacs, things like that, trying to do the MKP style, force a base trade whenever you're in a bad position with siege teams at your front door. None of that really happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So Strelok taking it 2-zip. He will move on to winners round 3, and I am so excited for that. If you guys enjoyed those games, make sure to check out www.ign.com/IPL, and you can find any of our social media links in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If that doesn't work out for you, be sure and check out Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, justintv.com/IGN Pro League. And last but not least, if you guys loved those casts, be sure and check me and Kevin out, aka Cat's Pajamas. You can find me at www.twitter.com/PainUser.
And you can find me at twitter.com/CatsPajamasSC2.
So stay tuned, guys. We will be coming right back with more games from the IPL.